You can bet your bottom dollar. Great programming coming up next on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Stand by. Hold on. Talk at its finest, coming up next on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. In about 2 minutes, stand by. We know what guys are talking about. Stand by. A great show coming up next on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. In about 30 seconds. Stand by. Don't go away. Stop. If they're talking about it at the barbershop, we're talking about it here on SME. Great show coming up in about 30 seconds. Don't go away. Stand by. It's time. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Another great product on the Stewart Media and Entertainment Network. Yeah!
Black Prince of the South, and you run up, don't get knocked out, fucked up, around, overdose, we can go, you really ass whooping. Here I go, here I go, here I go.
Look out, you're tuned into the Underground Railroad Show with that ninja on Spreaker.com. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. We're coming in on a Monday. Man, we're just going to hit on a few things, man. I got a few topics I'm going to try to get into. And what I'm going to do initially, man, I'm going to throw 3 things out there. And from the chat and what y'all tell me, that's the direction I'm going to go in initially. And we're just going to go from there, man. I appreciate everybody showing up. Well, we kick off these Mondays, man. Jersey Vern, as usual, the Chief Rocker, kicked off this Monday with the recap show and did a great job. Let's give it up to Jersey Vern. He always kicks off Mondays. He comes in and gives you 3 hours strong, no breaks. So give it up for the Chief Rocker who came in and got everybody in from work, basically drove everybody in. So shout out to the Chief Rocker. Appreciate you, sir. And he got this Monday kicked off, man. I'm going to come in, and I believe we might have Gary Joyner and or Fish, the microwave, coming up behind me. So be sure to look out for that. And see, we got a few people in the chat, man. I'm going to acknowledge y'all shortly, man. I appreciate everybody that's in the chat. I appreciate everybody that's listening and might not feel like chatting. I appreciate you as well. Okay, what we're going to do tonight, man, and I got 3 things I wanted to get into. Now, last week, I laid out a bunch of stuff as far as false media, and I think a lot of comparable situations where you have black athletes and white athletes, or as I like to call them, ninjas and colonizers, where you have these situations where you have a colonizer that does something similar to what a ninja does, or maybe not even as egregious, and you will get a lack of coverage, and you will get favorable coverage for the colonizer, and the ninja will be attacked for something similar, or maybe something that's not even as egregious. And this is consistent from the mainstream media. And we're going to get into that in a few situations that I thought were fairly obvious and somewhat insulting to the consumer. Also, as you looked at the title, sexual compatibility. Is sexual compatibility important in a relationship? Now, to me, that's a no-brainer. But this came up, in the chat earlier in the Doug Stewart show. I don't know how this came up. I made a comment, and I was actually surprised at some of the retort and some of the other comments I was getting that not everybody agreed, and I'm not saying it's everything. I mean, that would be childish. I'm a grown man, and I could never personally be with somebody that I don't have a vibe with, some kind of mental connection. If you can't talk to them, they're not dateable. They're not wifey material, obviously. But in the same token, if we're not sexually compatible, but we'll get into that as well. And third, you can't have my black card. Let me say that again. You can't have my black card, regardless of my dining choices. You can't have my black card. And for, people that have been listening, you know what I'm talking about. And I was going to let this go, man, but on every show that I've been listening to, this still came up. I'm still catching flack for this, and that's fine. It's all in good fun. It's actually pretty hysterical. But as far as my food choices and the things I choose not to eat, and I guess the main one that everybody's harping on is potato salad. And no, I don't like potato salad. And not only do I not like it, I think the smell and the sight of it simply repulses me. I don't even like to watch other people eat it. That's how much I dislike it. At any rate, you can't have my black card. You can't have it. So between... Is sexual compatibility important in a relationship? Meaning, is it half and half? Do you have to, be on a mental wavelength with somebody? But sexual compatibility is just as important. Is it 50-50? Is it 60-40? Is it 70-30? One way or the other? For some people, do you actually tell yourself it doesn't matter if you have everything else? The same as if you're sexually compatible with somebody, but you don't have a mental vibe. Is that doable? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't think that's doable either. Let me make that clear. If you're sexually compatible with somebody, but you don't have anything mentally, or you really don't get along, you can't be with that person. Not in a serious fashion. So it's no different on either side. But having the title in this manner, is a lot more intriguing. So if I put, at any rate, the other title's boring. So that's what we're going to get into, man, and. From the few people that are in the chat room right now, man, y'all let me know which way you want to go, and that's what we'll do. And for everybody listening, everybody in the chat, man, I appreciate y'all coming aboard. Let's take a ride. Yeah, y'all can't have my black card. We're definitely not going to do a whole show on that. Y'all cutting on my menu choices. What if Vince Wright said potato salad sucks, Ninja? You actually agree with me, Vince? Okay, you a good one, man. You a good one. Let's see here. Okay. Let me acknowledge everybody in the chat, man. If I don't see any confirmation, man, I'm just going to grab a subject and roll with it. I tell you what, I just go with sports initially. If nobody tells me one way or the other which way they want to go. I guess technically speaking, since I titled the show that, maybe I should start there. Maybe I will. Let me acknowledge everybody in the chat, man. Then we're just going to kick it up on whatever topic, and we'll just go from there. All right, I'd like to give it up to my main man, Jungle Brother, the Dr. Dre of Spreaker, up in the chat. Thanks for tuning in, Jungle Brother. I call Jungle Brother the Dr. Dre of Spreaker because he himself and Jersey Vern, and it was Jungle Brother initially the guy that started. He started a show on Spreaker. And, of course, all of us derived from the TDSS, the Doug Stewart Show. Shouts out to Doug Stewart, who comes to you from 10 to 12 Eastern, 9 to 11 Central during the week. But we all derive from the Doug Stewart Show. And Jungle, from the chat room that we have, we all got to know each other. Jungle kicked off a show on Spreaker. And when he was doing this, he did it with Jersey Vern. And throughout the course of doing the show, he brought in guests. Now, I'm kind of rehashing the story, most of you know, but for those who don't, I run through it right quick. He started doing shows and invited people on as guests, and I was one of those guests. So was the microwave John Fisher, Jersey Vern, who was actually part of the show. Excuse me, Vince Wright, who also has a show as well. So he invited everybody on, and man, we kind of got a taste for it, and he really kind of got everybody started. So shouts out to Jungle Brother, who I like to call the Dr. Dre of Spreaker. We also got my man Sluggo in the building. Appreciate you, Sluggo. Sluggo is a regular. Sluggo is also a Real Cast Ranger. And Real Cast Rangers consist of myself, Jungle Brother, the sports governor Vince Wright, the microwave John Fisher, Chief Rocker Jersey Vern, and our newest member, Togo Uganda. And I'm sorry, don't let me forget Gary G. Money Joyner, who also has a show. It's not regularly scheduled, but he has a show that comes to us. It's not regularly scheduled, but it, it does run. If you follow him, it will come up. So, shouts out to my man as well. Okay, we got Jose Negron in the chat. I think he's been there before, but I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming up in the chat, sir. Let me know you're here. I appreciate you. Appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for coming aboard the train, man. I appreciate you. And I have the aforementioned sports governor, Vince Wright, in the chat. Thanks for coming in, Vince Wright. Vince Wright is going to be part of Teflon Tuesdays tomorrow, which is going to consist of myself, the sports governor, Vince Wright, and closing out is going to be John Fisher, the microwave. We might have Old Man Cuddy kicking it off like he did last week, but we don't have confirmation on that, so I cannot say one way or the other. Hey, Vince, man, I know somebody else that wants to challenge you for your governorship, man. He's going to get with Jungle Brother at one point, man. I'm not sure. So, so we're gonna go with that at one point. Hold on, we got my man, the Chief Rocker, Jersey Vern, up in the chat. Thanks for coming in, Chief Rocker. Chief Rocker just got done giving us 3 strong hours on the Monday morning recap. Thanks for coming in here, man. After putting me in work. Chief Rock in the building, and as I said, if you follow him, you will be alerted anytime he does a show. Thanks for tuning in, sir. Okay, we got the chat squared away, and let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, everybody here is just speaking. I'm trying to see if they have a topic they want to go on one way or the other. Okay, Jungle Brother has food emojis all throughout his chat here, so I guess he wants to go with my food take. See, that's the only one I got. From Jose Negron, sex is like putting money in the bank. Once you take it out, you lose interest. Next subject. Okay, that's his vote. He doesn't care about the title show. Okay, Sluggo said, but that is the problem for some folks. Sometimes the sex is so good, but you know the relationship isn't going anywhere, but you keep holding on for toe-curling moments. Exactly, Sluggo. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Jose said I usually, really busy, I usually listen to replay. Okay, man. Oh, no doubt, man. I know people got stuff to do. Hey, I appreciate you checking out the replay, though, man. Anybody that takes time to listen to the show, to criticize it and or like it, or if you're just curious, I truly appreciate it, man. Hey, man, and jump in the chat, man. I mean, that's what it's for. Let me know if you dig what you're hearing, or if you think I should go a different way, or if you have an opinion on it, man. I'd like to hear it. You know, you learn something every day. I don't know everything. I mean, nobody does, so I appreciate everybody's opinion. I feel you, Jose Negron, man, but I don't think it'll be a dull subject, man. Make no mistake about it. Not the way I'm going to go about it, but let's see here. From Vince Wright, Sluggo, I love having my toes curled. Doesn't happen often enough. TMI, Vince Wright. I'm sure the First Lady heard that and doesn't appreciate it. I probably added to your demise for the evening, but you know what it is, man. All right, okay. So I have one food vote. I have one quote from Sluggo on the sexual aspect, man, and I have one semi vote. Okay, so I got 1 and 1. Vince Wright said Ninja After Dark. Okay, I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna start on this, man. If it doesn't go anywhere, I'll bounce off of it. But and I mean, I really don't think this is much of a mystery, man. So we'll go on this for a second, man. If I don't see much reply from it, we'll jump right into sports, and I'll just go from there. Oh, should I? Okay, does anybody else have a say so? I got one for food, and I got one for the content. I got another from Chief Rock who says, hey, you know what, Vern? It doesn't shock me that you want to talk about something that of a sexual nature, sir. Okay, I'll tell you what, that's two. So I'll go with the title of the show. Okay, is sexual compatibility important in a relationship? Ridiculous question. Obviously, it's important. But how important is it, and how much of a factor does it play as far as a make it, break it type of deal? Now, I can only speak for myself, obviously, but for me, I think that it is at a minimum just as important. Maybe if you want to stretch it out and say 60-40, I'll give you that at best. But I think, having a vibe with a person, a mental understanding, some type of connection, whether you want to call it spiritual or mental or, whatever you want to call it as far as y'all connection, having things in common, being able to have a conversation, and again, you're going to disagree. I think to be a man and a woman, you're going to have disagreements, obviously. When you talk to people, I'm sure you talk to your friends, the conversations are pretty much the same as far as, your casual disagreements. Men and women are going to have different general feelings on things. So you're going to have, common disagreements. But I don't think you can downplay the importance of sexual compatibility. And the reason why I titled the show that is because it seems like there's some type of, I don't know what you want to call it, stigma or some type of, stereotype on saying that. It's like, is that taboo? Should it, as a matter of, social acceptance, should I not say that out loud? You know what I'm saying? Because, okay, like, are you a bad person if you are with someone and, you have a vibe with them? Y'all have a, y'all can kick it. Y'all have fun together. They're funny. They're witty. Personally, for me, I like funny women. Like Eddie Murphy said, I like funny women, but hold on, you can't be no ugly bitch. If you remember Raw. At any rate, I like funny women. You got to have a personality. I couldn't be with a woman that's just, not sharp. You have to be kind of quick on your feet. I couldn't be with somebody that's mentally slow. I'm not turned on by that. At the same time, I couldn't be with somebody with a nasty attitude. Everybody has their quirks. And in the same token, if I was with somebody that we got along and the mental vibe was good, we could do things, have discussions, we could kick it. You're going to have your disagreements, but if y'all are both adults and you can talk it out or agree to disagree, it's all good. But if we don't have sexual chemistry, if we're not compatible sexually, if the sex is just straight up whack, now, don't get me wrong, if it's not great initially, I'm not a child, you can work on that. If somebody is willing to learn, if somebody actually wants to please you, if somebody enjoys sex as much as you, things can be worked out. You can learn each other. If people are willing to learn or take constructive criticism on both sides, y'all can work that out. As long as there's no physical dysfunction. But if this person doesn't enjoy sex as much as you, if they are not advanced sexually as you, if for some reason mentally they think, quote unquote, being freaky or, doing extra things is, something they're not willing to do. If they're just very, if they're just different at a different stage than you, let's say you're a level 8, you're a level 9, and they're like a level 4. It's going to be hard to mesh that. You understand what I'm saying? I think Chris Rock said that men can't go backwards sexually. And we can't. Once we get our sex a certain way, you're not going to fool with a woman that doesn't, do the things you need. Why would you? In the same joke or the same little special, I think he said a woman can't go back financially. Once she's with a guy, a certain way, as far as his economic status, what he has as far as like a house, a car, being able to go out or take out to dinner or go on trips or whatever, they're not really going to be able to go back from that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think that's true. But at any rate, you're not really going to be able to work that out. I don't think that's really doable. But the reason why I titled the show that is for some reason it seems like there's some type of false honor or some type of perception of you're a good person or you have some type of honor if you're with a person that, y'all have done enough to where sexually there's an issue. They don't vibe with you, their parts don't work, they're not willing to do the things that you need to be pleased. but you like him in every other way. But if you stick that out, it's a pointless deal. The same way it would be if you can't get along with somebody from a mental aspect. If y'all have no type of spiritual connection, if y'all just can't vibe on any level other than having sex. I think we've all been there. I've had those type of relationships, and you can't really do nothing with that. You don't really want to let it go either. You want to try to keep the sex going as long as possible, but you can't really be with that person. And again, some people will take that plunge because they don't want to let them go. And some people will just try to string it out or put up with things they shouldn't. And everybody's going to do that. It's just growing pains. But, is it me? I'm just trying to make sure that I thought that was a slam dunk. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't everybody agree that you have to be sexually compatible with somebody to be with them, especially if you're going to wed this person, if you're going to plan to really be with them? Don't you have to be sexually compatible? Don't you consider it just as important? Is it not at least 50-50, if not leaning more one way or the other? Give me some feedback on that if you don't mind, because if not, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to know, because I thought that was something that would be a slam dunk. I didn't think that was something that was, controversial or a split issue. But, from the chat earlier, you know what I'm saying, from what I could hear, it seems like it's not a given. It doesn't seem to be a given. So, and again, the reason why I went with this title is because from what I can tell, and I'm not going to say it's only women because it goes on both sides. Okay, let's say from a woman's perspective. Whoa. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm not slipping here. Hold on. Forgive me for the pause. Yeah. Hold on. Wait a minute. We got, hold on. Let me get my pipes right. Excuse me for the pause. Forgive me for that sip on the radio. We got the anchor leg of Teflon Tuesdays. We have the man that might give us something else this evening. We have the proprietor and creator of the Cooking with the Microwave show. The voice of the Cooking with the Microwave show. The producer of the Cooking with the Microwave show, John Fisher, in the building. Hey there, John Fisher. Jay Fish in the building. Thanks for tuning in, sir. Appreciate you. Jay Fish just jumped in the chat, man. Just jumped in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Jay Fish does Anchor Leg Teflon Tuesdays. He comes in after myself, the Sports Governor Vince Wright, and he comes in late that evening. So make sure you tune in to Teflon Tuesdays tomorrow. Okay, man, as I was going, man, okay, from a female aspect, and this is, from personal experience, that's all I can speak on. It seems to me that a lot of women will, and I'll get into men as well, because there are some that do this, and I was shocked to find it out. But it seems like women in a lot of cases, okay, let's just say people, man, because I don't want to get caught up in me saying one or the other and people get it all twisted. But let's just say from a female aspect that they will, a lot of times, maybe quicker than men, go with, this person, has a good head on their shoulders. They got a good job. We make sense from an economic standpoint. We get along. And again, if the sex is okay and people are willing to work and take constructive criticism, y'all can probably work that out. But I'm talking about a situation where a person is a certain way and they're not willing to change, or their parts don't vibe with your parts. You know what I'm saying? Well, he can't please you because of his size, or his longevity doesn't work, or he has something doesn't know how to use it. At the same time, a woman is just a dead fish, or maybe for some reason she doesn't get as moist as she should, or she's not willing to try different things. She's not as advanced as you would like her to be, and she's not willing to, come to your level, or vice versa. So, these things really are just as bad, if not worse to me, than, having a connection with somebody. But it seems like a woman almost more than a man will try to work out or lie to themselves and say, okay, everything else works, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get rid of this person because, you know, the sex isn't what I want it to be. And maybe that's a noble thing, but, you know, again, if they're not willing to work at it, or if it's really something that doesn't vibe, and again, maybe if you're not a sexual person, or if you're not a person that considers that to be important, maybe you can work that out. But if you're someone that actually enjoys sex, you're kidding yourself if you think you're going to be able to do that. You're kidding yourself, and it's no different than being with somebody that you can't talk to or have a conversation with, or you don't have anything in common with. It's not going to work. Because eventually, you know what I'm saying, something's going to happen with the sex, so you got to have something more than that, as well as you got to have something more than just getting along. You can't have a sexless relationship. So it seems like women are more willing to bypass that and say, I'm not going to break up with somebody because of that. And it's just going to end up being chaos, man, because you can't really do that. You know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? And it's a tough situation, but it's not really doable to just not be with somebody, that can't please you from a sexual standpoint. It's just not doable. Now, from a male standpoint, and I guess I'm going to look at this different because I'm a dude, maybe I'm going to be more critical. And I'm going to be more critical. From my aspect, you should know what you're getting into from the jump, because you have to get that done beforehand. I mean, as far as like being with the person, seeing how you are as far as living together a little bit. You have to, in my opinion, learn, you know, about the person a little bit before you get with them. Otherwise, you know, you're stepping in unknown territory, and that's ridiculous to do if you're going to go into a serious relationship and or marriage. So, having said that, I think you really need to get to know a person from all aspects, you know, mentally, sexually, all of that. You know what I'm saying? As an analogy, I think I said that you can't buy a car and not test drive it. You need to test drive that car. You need to take it on an extended trip. You need to drive it in reverse. You know, all these things, you know what I'm saying? That car needs to be, you know, taken through some things. You need to take it up to high speeds, drive it in reverse, parallel park. You get what I'm saying? So the car needs to be driven if you're going to buy it, because you intend to use this, and you're going to need it to be dependable, and you're going to need it to do what you want or desire it to do. Otherwise, you have a product that doesn't do what you need, and you're not going to be satisfied with that product. A relationship's no different. So you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be. And, again, from a male standpoint, and just as a side note, I always go back and listen to my shows, listen to audio issues, and see if I'm tripping on anything or how it sounded as far as my content. And I noticed one thing, I say I digress like 87 times a show, so I'm going to stop doing that because it's pretty corny. Okay, but at any rate, it's hard for me to have pity on a male, and I know some dudes are built like this because, you know, you talk to some cats that, you know, anybody that has that complaint when you're in a relationship, well, I guess not a relationship because you're not bound to that necessarily, but if you're married and there's a complaint about the frequency of intimacy, or, you know, a person not doing what you want, I don't get that necessarily, because, you know, you don't marry that. It's no different than marrying somebody that's showing you that they're crazy. I don't think that's any different. You simply cannot be with somebody that's not willing to, that's just not on your level sexually. Y'all have to have something working there. If not, you're just prolonging something that's not going to make it. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing at the end of the day. You're not going to make it because you have to have something there, because that's a very important part of life. You're supposed to be with this person, you know, forever, and y'all have to be able to satisfy each other. And it gets downplayed, man. So is it me, man? For some reason, is this taboo? Are you not supposed to say that? Are you a bad guy if you do? Do people tell you stupid if you get rid of somebody that has everything working but that? I mean, I don't get it. But I mean, the way I'm built personally, it's hard to even, I couldn't even fake that. I'm not going to be able to have a sustained relationship with anybody that, you know, that can't get with me on that level. You know, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, man, I'm going to dip into some of this chat, man, see if I got any comments on the subject. If not, I might keep rolling with it, or I might change on into sports if people aren't interested. So let's see what we got here. Let's see here. I had to take a call, but I'm okay. Jose Negron said I had to take a call, but I'm going to jump in. Okay, from Jose Negron. And tell me if I'm saying your name right, man. I hope I'm not butchering it, sir. If you're marrying for sex, it's going to be short-lived. Okay, and again, you're right. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you can marry just for sex, but you also cannot marry just for somebody that you like and or love, but you don't love the sex. I think it's the same thing. You can't just marry for sex, but you can't marry somebody that you get along with and you love, but y'all have, but you two don't have any sexual chemistry. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, if the sex is great, you can be with that person, because again, I said to myself, I can't be with that person. Don't get me wrong. You'll want to be with them and kick it with them, and you'll try to make it last as long as possible, but you can't be with that person when there's no kind of vibe outside of sex. And at the same time, you don't want to let them go because, as Doug always says, the Nusi is undefeated. So I feel where you're coming from, but I think it goes both ways. And again, that's why I named the show what I did, is because, nobody says that side of it. It's like it's taboo. You know what I'm saying? You can't just marry for sex, but you can't marry somebody that you don't have sexual chemistry with either. That's just as bad, and it's like something's wrong with saying that. And I think if more people were honest about that, maybe there wouldn't be as many people getting hitched that shouldn't be hitched. You know what I'm saying? I think that part is downplayed, and you probably should mention it. From Chief Rocker, no, he's just speaking. Okay. Okay, from Jose Negron again. Sex is like putting money in the bank. Once you take it out, you lose interest. Next subject. Okay, that's what he said earlier. Okay, that's what he said earlier. You know what, man? The way I'm built, that's probably not true for me, and I guess that's why I think differently. Don't get me wrong, I guess after a while you do somewhat lose interest sexually once you're with somebody so many times, but I guess maybe for me, and I guess I'm not alone, but that takes a really, 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 really long time. It takes a really long time because there are a lot of things you can do sexually. There's so many avenues, there's so many angles, there's so many positions, there's so many places, there's so many states of mind you can be in at the time. There's a lot of things you can do sexually that can't be done with a few romps here and there. And I think really you can't get the most out of somebody, or if it sounds better, you can't get the best sexual experience you two are going to get if you don't have a prolonged relationship, or at least a prolonged sexual encounter. You have to be together for a while. You got to be together more than a couple of times to really, even if it's great, it's going to be better if you get a chance to learn each other, over time. Because you'd be surprised, as long as you can be with somebody and then find out later, oh, you like that? Oh, you rather I do that? If you talk about it. So that's the only reason why I slightly disagree with that, but I do feel where you're coming from. And I get that it's different strokes for different folks. Not everybody feels the same way. Let's see here. From Vince Wright said, ha, Jose, well said, from Sluggo. But, okay, I read that earlier. But, I'm going to read it one more time just for poignancy. I read this earlier, but Sluggo. But that is the problem for some folks. Sometimes the sex is so good, but the relationship isn't going anywhere, but you keep holding on for toe-curling moments. And that's the only reason I brought it up, because that happens a lot. I mean, if every man or woman, if you're at least 30 years old, and I think I'm being generous by saying 30, haven't you at least been in, even if it wasn't overly serious, haven't you been in at least one relationship you probably should have let go sooner than you did, but the sex was real good, so you didn't, and you just made an excuse to just keep them around? Probably somebody should have been let go. Both of y'all probably should have got away from each other. There's no way you haven't done that at least once. So you got to feel where he was coming from on that, and that's all I'm saying. See here. Okay, read that. See here. From Vince Wright, haha, Slogo. Yes, sir. I love having my toes curled. Oh, wait a minute, I read that earlier too, man. I'm sorry. I'm double reading chat. Okay, from Vince Wright. Sex obviously is important in any relationship, but the mental connection is just as important in the long run, and it is. And it is. Vince Wright says sex. I vote sex for 2016. That's when I was asking about what topic do you want to hear. Okay, and that's my only point, but doesn't it seem like people don't want to say that, though, for some reason? For some reason, people don't want to say that it is just as important. It's like, it is, but you don't say it, or you're supposed to act like it doesn't mean as much. And that's a lot. It's 50-50 at best. At best, because you're supposed to be with this person for life, so that person has to be willing to be on the level you're on, and y'all have to be willing to be on each other's level. Otherwise, there's a conflict right there. The same as a conflict of somebody who wants to be sensible with their money. And one person in a relationship wants to be sensible with their money and stay on a budget. the other wants to keep up with the Joneses and take out loans to have a big birthday party for their 8-year-old kid. You know, those two people don't vibe mentally unless they're willing to compromise. That's no different than somebody who is sexually active and who really likes sex and somebody that, I don't even like to say this out loud, but I heard this actually happen. Somebody that only wants to have sex once a week or twice. Or maybe they can go a week without sex and could care less. Excuse me, they give me the shakes. But these people exist. So either way, you know what I'm saying? Both of those things are just as egregious. So I think as a people, we do ourselves a disservice by not acknowledging that. I really do, man. It seems to be, and again, this all stems from the chat earlier on the Doug Stewart show. I was just surprised from some of the comments from both men and women. I just thought that would be something that was unanimous. Okay, from J Fish. Sup, peeps? Mr. Slade still got me working, shaking my damn head. I thought me and Cuddy was cool. I better not find out he had his hand in this bullshit. Okay, J Fish, hey, you got to make that money, sir. So props to you, sir. You got to do what you got to do. Gotta do what you gotta do, man. From Vince Wright, level 4 girls gotta kick rocks. Level 4, yeah, Vince Wright, yeah, I mentioned that earlier. Sexually, you're on a level 4, you gotta kick rocks. You gotta go. That doesn't work, man. And again, I quote comedians a lot because I think comedians are profound thinkers. Because, if you really think about it, they have to captivate an audience for at least an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2, depending on what type of stand-up they do. And it's original thought, and a comedian can't really come with old jokes. So I think most of the time they're profound thinkers. To be a good comedian and or a great comedian, I think you really have to be somebody that thinks on a different level. I kind of think I have that type of mind. I'm not as skilled as a great comedian, obviously, but I think my mind works that way. So, again, to quote a comedian, what did Vince Wright say? Level 4 girls got to kick rocks. It was Chris Rock that said, a woman that doesn't give head. It's like a woman that doesn't do blowjobs or doesn't give head. You know what I'm saying? It's like a Betamax. You know what I'm saying? It's like a tape player. You're just looking at it like, they still make you. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make. It's not acceptable. It's like somebody giving you any type of DVD player or something to that effect that has a remote control on it with a wire attached to the box. It's just not something you're going to take. It's outdated equipment. It's like using a typewriter. You're not going to do it. So, that's what I meant by level 4, chick. Some people are like that. From Jose Negron, he said, I agree, 50-50. And I think it has to be that way at least, man. I think if you're not willing to say it's 50-50, then you're kidding yourself. Unless you're somebody that's somebody that's just not a sexual person. But if that's the case, then your mate has to be that way as well. So I can't relate to that mentality personally, so I find that to be odd. From J Fish, if Shorty can fuck, I gotta do, from J Fish, I butchered this chat, let me slow down. If Shorty can fuck, I gotta go. Not gonna be able to do it. Okay, I think Jay Fish is talking on the subject. He's saying that if she can go sexually, he's not really willing to let that go. Is that what you're saying, Fish? You know what I'm saying? Somebody can go sexually, that's going to be something you're trying to hold on to. And I understand what you're saying. But if you don't have any type of vibe outside of that, isn't it going to be a problem eventually? I'm not saying that the ride won't be kind of fun. But eventually, aren't you going to crash and or run out of gas and or get stopped by the cops? Isn't that ride going to end bad? That's all I'm saying. If I'm reading your chat right. From Jose Negron, can I be transparent? Always in this chat and on all of our shows, sir, you can always be transparent. Okay, again, let me do it over and read it in its proper context. Can I be transparent? I like variety, so toe curling or not, I like that new. You know what, Jose? Let's be honest. Who doesn't like that new? And I'm going to quote a comedian again. Chris Rock said the only thing better than pussy is new pussy. Who doesn't like new pussy? It clears your mind. Again, to quote Chris, I'm just saying that, I feel you on that. I'm just saying, all I'm saying on that is, You can get a Lamborghini and drive the hell out of it, but if you don't keep it over the long haul, maybe you don't get all the excitement out of that Lamborghini you could have. That's all I'm saying, and you're right on that, Nunu. You're right on that, but there's a lot of new to be found in something you got if you dig deep enough, quote unquote. And that was my only point on that, but I don't disagree with you on that at all. From Jose Negron, and that's why the relationship has to be right. Yeah, it does. You have to have a mental connection or you're not going to stay, because the pool of new Nusi and a new sexual experience is going to be greater than somebody that you only have sex with, and that's all y'all have. You have to have some kind of mental connection and have to care about that person to even want to stick around. So no doubt, sir. No doubt. I feel you on that. Okay, and again, man, and you're listening to the Underground Railroad Show with that ninja on Spreaker.com. I always say that I have a very smart chat room. They add to the show, and they come with a lot of good takes, or however you want to put it. They come with a lot of good takes and or comments, and I can usually feed off of it and or learn something. So, man, I appreciate everybody participating, man, and no doubt y'all add to the show. All right, man. Okay, this is kind of casual here. From Jungle Brother, if she doesn't have a bottle of vinegar. Okay, man, let's try this again. If she doesn't have a bottle of vinegar somewhere in her house, she's not up on game. Hey, Jungle. Hey, why you caught up on vinegar, man? I heard you say the other day that Nusi is vinegar-based. I'd have to disagree, sir. I'd have to disagree with it being vinegar-based. I feel your analogy, though. But I have to disagree with it being vinegar-based, probably because I don't care for vinegar. Jose said name pronounced correctly. Okay. Appreciate the confirmation, sir. From Sluggo. If she's clicking on all cylinders, otherwise you may take an L or two in the sex department. Ooh, Sluggo. Okay. If that depends, Sluggo, I'm going to need you to clarify what you mean by taking an L or two. Okay, if taking the L is maybe not having the frequency you want, but everything else is right. See, I can't even say that. Okay, I get to something. You know what? The way I'm built, man, I can't do that. And I guess that's a really tough decision, because it's going to be hard for me to get on a proper mental level with somebody who isn't sexually compatible. So maybe it would be hard for me to get to a point with somebody where I'm like, man, you cool as hell, but, you know, this bad action is garbage. But taking an L or two in the sex department. Hold on. If she's clicking on all cylinders, otherwise you may take an L or two in the sex department. I think you're saying that, okay, I think you're saying sexually she's going to have to be clicking on all cylinders, or you're going to have to take an L or two. Because if you do that, because to be with somebody, you know what I'm saying, mentally, just mentally you're on the same spiritual level with or mental level with, that you might have to take an L or two. Either that or you're saying that if everything is clicking otherwise, you might have to take an L or two. Just clarify that for me, man, because, and I feel you on that, and I get that's what a lot of people do. Personally, I can't do it. I mean, does that make me selfish? I mean, and maybe some people look at it that way. Maybe that's why, you know, I get looked at funny when I had this take about, is that selfish? You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it isn't selfish. I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you lie to yourself that way, because, you know, that's real-ish. You know, if you're talking about being with somebody, you know, you have to factor in something that is a major factor, something that is going to be, hell, a mainstay. A mainstay, man. You can't downplay that. I just don't think you can. But again, I will acknowledge maybe it depends on how much you like sex, because there are people that don't necessarily like sex like that. Felt the need to knock on wood after saying that. I don't know why. Okay, continuing with the chat here from Sluggo. But that leads to jump-offs who have no... I'm sorry. Let me get... Okay, Sluggo. My bad. I'm butchering your chat. Okay. I'm going to read Sluggo's chat in context to get everything together. If she's clicking on all cylinders, otherwise you may have to take an L or two in the sex department. But that leads to jump-offs who have no inhibitions. Okay, Sluggo. You know what? That's the wrong thing. Sluggo, now that I read both of them together, that means we're on the same page and you get what I was saying. So you just dropped the bomb, sir. You just dropped the bomb. And I appreciate that bomb you just dropped. I should have read the other one before I read that because I went on a rant that wasn't even relevant. You know what I'm saying? If I would have read your two texts and your two chat messages in context. So my apologies, sir. We're on the same page. So you're saying, I feel what you're saying. You take an L or two, but that can lead to a problem. You know what I'm saying? On either side. And even if you don't, you're gonna end up treating that person back. You're gonna have a problem at one point. So you're either gonna have to confront that problem that you should have confronted before y'all made this commitment, or you're going to take it out on them one way or another because you're not satisfied in that manner. You know, if you're not satisfied one way or the other, you're probably going to have a problem with that person. It's going to show. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able to work things out. You're going to, you know, that's the stories I've heard, you know, sleeping in separate rooms, not really speaking, you know, a couple words here and there, keep it pushing, never have a relationship, you know, never get together from a sexual standpoint. You know, it's just, it's unfathomable, you know what I'm saying? It's just something I couldn't see. That's a living hell, man. It's just not a way that any human being should live. You know, it just isn't. It just isn't. Okay, from Gary G. Money Joyner. I disagree with the test drive philosophy. Oh, wait a minute. Let me slow down. Gary, that first statement right there makes me question your chat, but let me back up. Okay. I think what I just read was Gary saying, I disagree. Let me make sure that's what I heard, man, because maybe I didn't hear that. Gary, what I'm doing right now is rubbing my eyes, and I'm dropping in the eye drops. I'm trying to make sure everything's okay. Trying to make sure everything's cool here. Okay. Eye drops in. Okay, let me read this again. I disagree with the test drive philosophy. Okay, no, I read it right. Every human relationship is different. It's different from cars. One is human, the other is a machine. How are the two comparable? Let Russ and Sierra do them. I wasn't talking about them two, Gary, but no, that's very relevant, sir. If you're only with one person sexually, how do you know what you like? And let me give you another analogy to try to drive that across. If you grew up with only your mother's cooking or your family's cooking, and let's just say they really can't cook worth a damn, you don't know that because you've been eating that your whole life. So you've been eating average to below average cooking your whole life, but you don't know because that's what you've been around. That's what you've been exposed to. So when you get exposed to real cooking, you're either like, oh my God, I can't believe this exists, or you're so jaded and or brainwashed, you think good cooking is bad cooking. So either way, it's not good. You know what I'm saying, sir? I mean, just think about it. You have to have a reference point. If you never had great cooking, you really can't comment on great cooking. So when somebody asks you, hey, what's a good restaurant to go? You tell them somewhere to go. They go there, and they're like, why would he eat this? Because you don't know good cooking. If you've only, let's say the only car you ever seen is a Geostorm. Remember those hatchbacks with the back seat that made no sense because you couldn't really sit in it? If you did, you had to bend over. You know, mostly girls drove them, driving around playing like Luke Skywalker, 2 Live Crew, stuff like that. At any rate, you know, let's say the only car you ever seen was Geostorm. You love that Geo. You drive the hell out of it. But then you get to riding around and you see SUVs, you see trucks, you see Cadillacs, you see Regals, you see Cutlasses, you see Lamborghinis, you see Bentleys, you see Benzes, you see BMWs. You're like, damn, if I would have known this was out here, I wouldn't have bought this damn Geostorm. It's no different, sir. If you don't have a reference point as far as a sexual experience, how do you know what you got is really good? If you've never been with a couple of people that are at least a little different, and don't get me wrong, you don't necessarily have to have a high body count, but you at least have to do a whole lot with the people you're with. Let's just say you've been with 3 people in your life, you know what I'm saying, for argument's sake. If you've been with 3 people in your life, but you and those 3 people were together for, let's say, a year apiece, that's a long time, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about being with somebody and just kicking and whatnot. Okay, so let's say you were 3 people a year apiece. But with those 3 people, y'all did everything under the sun. You know, y'all got together, y'all kicked it, y'all spoiled each other, you know what I'm saying? Y'all did the do. I think that person may have more sexual experience and or know-how than a person that's been with 20 or 30 people, but only was with those people 3 or 4 times each, because you never really got a chance to get it in really with them and learn them. And don't get me wrong, you can have great sex without that, but there's a different level once you get to know somebody and likes and dislikes, and there's a rhythm to it, man. There's nothing in life. I mean, this adage I think is true in everything. The more you do anything, the better you get, and sex is no different. And the more you're with somebody, the more you're going to learn each other. If being satisfied and having a great experience is the goal of both of the people involved, it's going to get better. So I think that person was with 3 people but did everything under the sun on a high volume, they're going to maybe know more sexually than somebody that's been with more people but weren't with those people for long. You know what I'm saying, if you feel where I'm coming from. So having said all that, Gary, I disagree with you completely. Is a car different? Yes. But the aspect as far, the analogy as far as you need to experience things, you need to have a reference point to know what you really want, I think it's true. You know what, I'll throw you one more. When I first started doing this podcast, initially I thought, okay, this sounds pretty good, not necessarily my content, but I mean the way it sounds. After so many shows, I learned, okay, my audio's too loud on my sound effects, or my clap is drowning me out, or my microphone is too high. Initially I thought it sounded great, but after a few shows and I had a few under my belt, I had a reference point to how it should sound, and I realized, okay, I have level problems. You get what I'm saying? Everything gets better with time. Everything gets better with experience. So I think the analogy is relevant, sir, because you really have to test drive something that you're going to make a lifetime commitment to. And I think downplaying lifetime commitment is ridiculous. To be with somebody forever, you actually going to say that? Again, test drive it, extended test drive, reverse, parallel parking, U-turns, stop and goes, perhaps even extended vacation. Check the hood, make sure the tailpipe's clean. I'm just saying, you got to test drive that car if you're going to keep that car forever. And it's not unreasonable to say that. So I find it hard to believe that you say that you don't believe in that philosophy. Clarify that for me, sir, because, you know what I'm saying, I don't think that holds water from where you're coming from. You seem to be a little off on that from my standpoint. Whoa, wait a minute. Let me acknowledge somebody that just came in the chat room. We have the New England Patriot cheering, the Tom Brady defending and bootlicking, Belichick loving, Deflategate defending, Tuck Rule cheering, and Alabama loving Grego in the building. What's up, Grego? Thanks for tuning in, sir. We have a little fun at Grego's expense, but he always adds to the show whether his chat is ridiculous or not. Grego, what the hell is that avatar? You know what? I don't even want to know. If I had to guess, it's probably some type of food product, man. Okay, from Vince Wright. Let's see here. What does that say? Let's see here. I think it says, this I got a jet for a minute. If I'm not back, I will listen on demand, Ninja. Keep preaching the gospel, sir. No problem, Vince. I appreciate you checking in, man. Go handle your business. Grego came in and said, what kind of show is this? ? What up, LOL? Yeah, Grego, I'm off on a different note today, man. And, I didn't mention this before, but okay, basically since I'm debating on this, whether I'm gonna keep doing this show on Monday and then coming right back on Teflon Tuesdays, because I imagine you get tired of hearing me back to back. But if I'm gonna do it on Mondays, I think I'm gonna take it light on Mondays. Maybe I won't do such a heavy subject as far as the sports and the way I go about it. Maybe I'll do something lighthearted like this, about my food choices. Maybe I'll do something like that on Mondays, and on Tuesdays go heavy on my sports and false media. But again, I'll take the show wherever y'all want to go with, man. But that's my philosophy, or that's what I'm thinking right now. So I'm going to get out of the world. Because I don't think back-to-back y'all want to hear me go off on sports the way I do as far as how I feel about the media and the way they cover it. Because what I've found is, man, some people just don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going to continue to point it out. But I found that some people are just used to it and they really don't care, man. Again, last week, man, I had a show where it came out that I didn't like potato salad. And, man, the chat went bananas. That's all I ended up talking about, for at least half of the show. That's all people want to talk about. And I probably had, one of my highest chat outputs that I've ever had, talking about my lack of desire for potato salad and other food items. But so I'm probably going to go that route and try that out for a minute, man, and just go with that. From Gary Joyner, if you don't taste good down there, don't let her. BJ, what the hell? What, Gary? Okay, let me read that again. I hit the explicit button, so, I guess you need to be prepared for this. From Gary Joyner, if you don't taste good down there, don't let her BJ. Yeah, I'm going to move on, Gary. Keep yourself... What the fuck? I guess I'll open the door for this. Okay, from Gary Joyner. Keep yourself clean and eat juicy fruit, or else don't accept kisses after she goes down on you. Gary? What the? Okay, Gary, I'll give you a little laugh there. What the hell? Okay, Gary, let's moving on from Sluggo. Taking an L meaning instead of a 10, it's a 9, maybe an 8. Okay, Sluggo, that's acceptable. Okay, I just wanted to clarify. That's acceptable. From Sluggo, yep, if everything else is clicking, you might make concessions, but not too many. Okay, that's reasonable, sir. Whoa, wait a minute. We got Togo Uganda in the chat, the newest member of the Real Task Rangers, who has a show that Togo will remind me. So I want to say you're doing Wednesday nights, or is it Thursday? But Togo has a show that is definitely different. I'm not trying to steal your swag, man. This kind of came up in the Doug Stewart chat earlier, so that's why I'm going with it. But Togo has a show that kind of dives into these types of things, but he goes a lot deeper with it and has some female guests on the show as well. So be sure to follow Togo Uganda and check out his show. And again, I think I said it before. You're going to need probably some type of beverage, towel, a lubricant of some kind. If you're going to tune into a show, I'd recommend those items laying to the side of you. Appreciate you coming in, Togo. No doubt about that, sir. Let's see here. From Jungle Brother. Okay, I see he already tripping. My fault for laughing, man. I kind of pre-read the chat whether I intend to or not, and I'll start laughing. I'm trying to do better about that. From Jungle Brother. If she's bow-legged and her last 3 boyfriends are still stalking her, that's some good pussy. You know what? I'm not going to give you that. You know what, Jungle Brother? That's true. If a chick is getting stalked and Joker won't leave alone, she probably got that good. That's probably the case. There's a reason they stalking her. That's a profound statement. Again, man, dropping bombs. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it. From Gary Joyner. Okay, here we go. Wait a minute, Gary. Don't do this, man. Don't do this, Gary. Don't do this, man. Don't do this. From Gary Joyner. We men will always sleep around with that test drive philosophy and always cheat just out of curiosity. I could be banging everyone. Something got to stand out about the woman, not just sex. Yeah, Gary, I said that already. But what I'm saying is sex is just as important. And again, everything you just said, you know what, Gary? Gary, listen here, man. That sounds like something somebody says when their old lady is standing over them. Is Bay next to you, Gary? Are you trying to get brownie points from Bay? You trying to get brownie points from Bay, ain't you, Gary? Stop it, sir. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Let me read the first part again. You know what? Hold on, man. That has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, Gary. Hold on. Let's see here. We men will always sleep around with that test drive philosophy. Gary? Sir, you are kidding yourself if you think women don't do the same. You are straight kidding yourself. Come on now, sir. That sounds like a naive, I'm going to let you slide. I'm going to keep it pushing, but you bugging, sir. From Grego, Charlie Brown booze. Somewhat. Hold on. From Togo, he said economy versus full size. That was in reference to my car analogy. Yes, sir. Economy versus full size, Togo, no doubt. From Gary, I always thought my mom's cooking sucked, and it turns out I was right. Okay, Gary, let me read that without laughing. Gary said, I always thought my mom's cooking sucked, and it turns out I was right, that ninja. You know what, Gary, man, I'm going to give you a radio man hug because I grew up in a cooking family. I can't imagine growing up with food that is less than desirable, man. So I feel for you, bro, but I like your honesty. From Sluggo. So, G-Money, what happens after you're married and you guys aren't compatible in the bed? I guess you're both virgins and there's no point of reference. Sluggo. That's the only way it's going to work. Exactly. You hear what he's saying? Point of reference. If you don't have a point of reference, it's all good. Y'all both don't know what you don't know. I mean, God, what was it? Pulp Fiction? God, I don't want to mess up the quote. There are known unknowns and there are unknown knowns. But there are also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know. So what you're saying is they both have unknown unknowns. Things they don't know that they don't know. They don't know that they don't know that they're not getting what they should get. So it's all good. And that's the way that's the only way that's going to work. But again, man, that's a great point, Slug. I mean, anytime you drop a point I either wasn't thinking on or a point that I would make, I'm going to drop that bomb for you, man. So, just as a reference point, that's a new sound effect I'm playing with. From Sluggo again. As Chris Rock said, a man is only as faithful as his options. I personally think that's true. You know what? I don't want to be, I don't want to regurgitate this, but that's another damn bomb. That's true if you're being honest with yourself. A man is as faithful as his options, and he's as faithful as he wants to be. You know what I'm saying? So a man remains faithful, you know what I'm saying, because he wants to be, and that's what he's chosen to do. But what Sluggo's referring to, when you're on a Tiger Woods level, a Will Smith level, a Michael Jordan level, you can't compare yourself to those cats because the options they have is something that you couldn't imagine. So it's beyond hypocritical to say what you would do if you were them. And that's what my man Sluggo was talking about. When you have those type of options, you know what I'm saying, you're a good one if you're able to pull that off, you know what I'm saying? But that's what my man's talking about. Again, man, dropping bombs. Nice point there, Sluggo. From Gary Joyner. Sex therapy is available for those of us that's not compatible. What the fuck? What? Okay, Gary, I'm trying to be nice, man. Are you doing this on purpose? Are you serious right now? Gary, are you serious? Okay, let me back up. Let's try this again. Let me make sure I read this right. From Gary G. Money Jr. Sex therapy is available for those of us that's not compatible in bed. There's always something you could do because relationships, friendship bond is just as important. Again, Gary, I'm not arguing with that. What I'm saying is the sexual part is just as important. You know what I'm saying? And maybe depending on who you are, it might teeter one way or the other. But what I'm saying is people that downplay the sexual aspect of it are making a grave mistake. And it seems to be that it's somewhat honorable. And you're a prime example of this. You know what I'm saying? From your last 2 or 3 chats, you're taking slight offense to what I'm saying. Maybe not offense, but you're coming at it from an angle with a preconceived notion. Again, that I think, comes from your base being close to you right now, man. Your base real close to you right now, man. You scared she gonna come up to you. She's gonna go upside your head, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. But I'm just saying, though, the stigma, the mentality of the average person, or not the average person, but a lot of people is what you're displaying right now. You're taking what I'm saying as a negative. I'm saying that the sexual aspect gets downplayed, and we should stop doing that because it leads to chaos. Again, unless both of you are inexperienced. But again, that's workable. What I'm saying is somebody, when there's an extreme one way or the other, when one person loves sex and is sexually free, let's just say they're comfortable and sexually free, and the other person is closed off and buttoned up and conservative, and neither is willing to change. That's not workable. The same way somebody who wants to keep up with the Joneses and somebody that is fiscally responsible, financially responsible, getting together. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mix both ways, and I think they're both just as important, and depending on who you are, you might lean 60-40 or 70-30 one way or the other. But I don't disagree with you on that point, but you're making a point that's not there. You know what I'm saying? You're disagreeing with something I'm not saying. I'm not saying sex is the only thing that matters, but I'm saying it doesn't get mentioned as if it's taboo, and that's a mistake. Who doesn't like sex? You know what I'm saying? Which is why I think you got to kick those tires first. You got to kick them, change them, rotate them. At any rate, Chief Rocker said, "Grego, you are a fool." Chief Rocker getting right to the point. From Grego, yeah, I think so too, Sluggo. Studies have shown that men with salaries less than $50,000 don't cheat as much as ones that make over $50,000. More options. I mean, that's only common sense, and maybe it sounds jacked up to say, but I mean, it is what it is. Okay, here goes a confirmation from Togo, Uganda. The Lonely Hearts Cafe, Wednesdays from 8 to 10. Togo, is that Eastern or Central? Clarify that for me, because I'm in the Central time zone, sir. But that's the Lonely Hearts Cafe from 8 to 10. I want to say, I'm not, you know what, I'm not going to say because I'm not 100. Let me know if that's Central or Eastern, sir, so I can clarify. From Chief Rocker says that's bullshit, Grego. I tend to agree. I mean, I took a long-winded way of saying that, but yeah, I tend to agree. Chief Rocker said, true that, Ninja, from Grego. Married guys, Chief, because the wife either adds to the overall income, I guess. I mean, that's part of it, man, and you can get caught up in that, but, the same way that if you're with somebody that y'all aren't on the same mental wavelength, if you're not compatible sexually, man, you're in a living hell, man. Either that or, like Sluggo said, you know what I'm saying, it leads to jump-offs. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be an issue. Or you're going to, let me borrow a word from Doug, you're going to subconsciously, get back at that person for what you perceive to be a lack of being able to fulfill what you need, either financially, mentally, or sexually. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be an issue. See, Sluggo said exactly, Grego. Yeah. Speaking from the marriage aspect, the economics of it, economics come into play. But again, all of that can't come into play if you're honest with yourself in the beginning. And I just think, that extreme mental difference that people can recognize fairly quickly, it's just as important to recognize that, again, okay, let me just clarify in case anybody didn't hear it, and I don't want to be overly repetitive, but if two people are willing to work at it, that's doable. If two people are inexperienced and you both just don't know nothing and you're going to grow together, that's doable. But if one person is sexually open and the other person is sexually buttoned up, that is going to be an issue. Because you have to, if that's who you're going to be, if we're talking about marriage, then there's really not much you should deny. Almost anything within reason should not be denied because you're supposed to be with each other forever. So there should be no limitations. There should be no breaks. There really shouldn't be a moment where somebody says, ew. That shouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? If you feel where I'm coming from. If not, if so, that's unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? In my humble opinion. From Jungle Brother, if she takes you to her church and her pastor can't stand your ass, okay, I'm sorry. From Jungle Brother, if she takes you to her church and her pastor can't stand your ass, that's some good pussy. Shout out to Jungle Brother who I believe is working. But he is still putting in work in the chat room. Thank you, sir. From Vince Wright. 50,000 is the cheating threshold, I see. Hysterical. But I think that's basically, if you want to cut right through the chase and cut off the fat, that's essentially what they're saying, sir. From the Chief Rocker, Jersey, Vern. Grego, that's bullshit. Because when I was married, I was on both sides of the pay scale. And I still did my thing. It ain't about money, youngin'. You know what? I tend to agree. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm being hypocritical. But let me clarify. A certain type of cat is going to do that regardless. I mean, how many people have, and I don't watch these things personally, but, you know, all the little stories and the talk shows that come out with somebody that has 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 kids by 11 different women. That cat usually doesn't have a lot of money. So it's not like you have to have money or bread to get with women. You know what I'm saying? God, I can't remember who said this. Zoe Williams, somebody else I listened to, I believe he said that, to paraphrase, Nusi is easier to get than water. If it was a stock, it would be plummeting because it's so easy to get. You know, so having said that, you know, you can't just be with somebody for sex, but it's very important in the same token. And it's not limited to somebody with income, but the temptation is greater, and your opportunities are increased the more financial stability that you have. That much is true. But that doesn't mean that somebody that isn't financially advanced or financially stable or on a higher economic level doesn't have options at the same time. So that's a great point you're making there, Chief Rock. That's a great point. Let's see here. Grego, LOL, there's always an exception, Chief. No doubt. From Vince Wright, Chief Rock is a pimp. Sluggo said he's laughing his ass off. Togo said, those of us, question mark. Is it something I said? Man, maybe I'm too far behind, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I think he's talking about what Gary said. Gary, Gary, you need to stop doing this to yourself, man. Oh, my God. Gary, don't make me block you, man. Hold on, man. From Gary Joyner, sex therapists can hypnotize you so you can stop comparing sex with your past lovers. Gary, you need to go in the room that Bay is not in so you can watch this show and have your sack in hand. You don't have your sack right now, man. There's no way. I don't mean to be disrespectful. Gary, I'm going to leave you alone. But you know what? No, I'm not. That's the third or fourth one. You're out of line, sir. You're out of line. Get it together, man. Clear your throat. Toughen that up. Matter of fact, man, I'm going to read that one more time so y'all can hear what this ninja just said. Listen to Gary. Sex therapists can hypnotize you so you can stop comparing sex with your past lovers. Gary, did you look into that? Who told you that? They were female. Come on, sir. Bay right next to you right now, ain't she? She looking at you real funny, ain't she? Bay, don't do Gary like this in front of his peers. This is not a good look. From Togo, Gary will be... I apologize for my lack of composure. Gary, will Bay be next to you when we discuss this on the Lonely Hearts Cafe? I don't know, Togo. That's a good question, Togo. Okay, Togo said Eastern. So 8 to 10 Eastern time. 8 to 10 Eastern. So that's a little bit different from me. That's a little bit different from me. Okay. See here. Togo, okay, I guess I'm right up Togo's alley here. From Togo, are we advocating being faithful? Well, it depends what you're talking about, Togo. If you're in if you're in a committed relationship with somebody, I guess you're supposed to be, I imagine. But if you're not married, I really don't recommend it because you have to do what you're supposed to do when you're married. So when you're not married, I recommend, man, you unless you found what you're looking for. And again, from that statement, you know what I'm saying, you bring up an interesting point. Let me say this, and maybe somebody can make a comment on this. If from a male standpoint, if you're being honest, let's just be honest. Do you really want to stop, playing the field, or do you just find somebody that you're so compatible with that you're really not willing to lose them for fear you won't find that compatibility again? You know what I'm saying? If you can find that combination of mental and, spiritual, mental, however you want to claim it or call it, you get physical and mental stability, you get that sexual chemistry. If you can find that in one person, and it's enough for you to deal with. If you can find, because nobody's perfect, obviously, but what you have to do is find somebody that does things that you can deal with. They have issues, but the issues they have, okay, I can work with this. So that's what you're looking for. So once you find that, it isn't that you necessarily want to stop, but if you don't, you're going to lose this, and you don't want anybody else to get a hold of that. You know what I'm saying? You've put in enough work. This person, you've had enough experience to where I don't think I'm going to find somebody else like this. So if so, it's going to be hard. So it's a matter of, okay, I found the one, but at the same time, it's more like I kind of have to conform if I want to keep this person, or at least give the perception of conforming. So, you know what I'm saying, is it really that we found that one, or is it we don't want to lose that particular one? You know what I'm saying? And maybe some people call that the same thing. I think it's just the mentality of how I think Gary would say you found the one, and maybe somebody else would say, I really didn't want to lose that person, but, they ended up being the one. But I didn't necessarily want to stop, meeting people, but it's just not worth losing, what I put work into, what I've built with this person. And again, some people just from a mental and or sexual aspect, you're just not willing to give up. You're just not. But Togo, man, if you're just dating, man, I recommend you date. I really do. Because, forever's forever, so I recommend you date until, you really can anymore, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, I think you need a reference point in anything, and sex and relationships is no different. You need to go through different relationships. You need to go through good ones, bad ones. You need to go through some form of heartache so you can grow from it. As crazy as it sounds, and it took me a minute to learn this, I'm very late to the party on this, you can go through something, man, that seems tragic, and you'll be better for it if you're able to stick it out. And you really can't see it at the time, but that's just life and experience, man. You got to go through a little something, you'll be better for it. You really will. You know what I'm saying? So you can avoid it all you want to. You can minimize exposure to it. But when it happens, man, if you approach it correctly, as bad as it seems at the time, as bad as it may be, you can actually gain from it. You can grow from it. You can become better or more game, whatever phrase works for you. You can get more game, you can learn from it, you can be a better person, you can become more involved, you can have a reference point for when that happens in the future and be better prepared for when it goes down. So, there's a good way to look at everything. You know what I'm saying? So are we advocating being faithful, Togo? If you're just kicking it, not necessarily. If you're married, you're supposed to be faithful, you're married. But just kicking it and dating, not necessarily, man. That's the time when I think you need to be out there. You know what I'm saying? When can you do it otherwise? You know what I'm saying? So, not necessarily. Vince Wright. Okay, here we go. Potato salad, ketchup, and mustard will kill a marriage, right, Ninja? Oh, Vince got jokes. Vince got jokes. Vince, okay, since you brought it up, man, okay. I'm going to do a quick rundown, man. I'm going to let this go. And again, y'all can't have my black card. You know what I'm saying? I said this once, I say it again. And you're listening to the Underground Railroad Show with that Ninja on Spreaker.com. Y'all can't have my black card. Listen, now, I don't eat any of these things. And you can crack all the jokes you want to, because quite frankly, they're hysterical. But you can't have my black card. I don't like potato salad, macaroni salad, pasta salad, sweet potatoes, so I don't like sweet potato pie. I don't like baked beans. I don't eat cake or pie. I don't like coleslaw. I don't eat ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. I don't like ranch dressing. I basically don't eat any condiments outside of occasional barbecue sauce. Excuse me, cough button. I might eat a little bit of, I really don't eat condiments for real, but some that are acceptable on occasion, barbecue sauce, perhaps some A1 or some Heinz 57, but for the most part, I really don't use it. I don't like catfish. Don't get me wrong, I love fish, but I really don't care for catfish. And I know as a ninja, I'm supposed to love it, but I really don't. I think whiting or perch or tilapia or orange roughy or mahi-mahi, I prefer all of those in comparison to catfish because of that aftertaste it has. I don't like onions. I don't like chitlins. I don't think I'm by myself on that. I don't like pig feet or hog maws or none of that extra stuff. I really no longer can eat souse meat or Vienna sausages or pottage meat, which I don't think I'm by myself on that either. And this one right here, I really shouldn't even tell you. Now, I don't drink soda, but I mean, that's not a big deal. This one, I probably shouldn't even tell you, but I'm going to tell you this one and then I'm going to let this go. I don't like oatmeal, grits, or cream of wheat. Now, take that and do what you want with it. But that's what Vince is talking about. I brought up my eating habits, man, and it took over my show. And I really don't appreciate everybody having all these critical thoughts and statements about what I eat and what I don't eat, and telling me to turn in my black card or something to that effect. I don't appreciate it, and it's not going to happen. I'm not going anywhere. Let's see here. From Gary Joyner. Babe thinks your show is too raunchy, Togo. Did you just say raunchy? Gary? Hey, man. You breaking man laws in this chat room. Stop it, man. You breaking man laws in this chat room, man. Stop it. Man, Babe must be sitting next to Gary on some of this here. Is that what's going on, Gary? You got that bead of sweat dripping down your forehead, little shaky, piss dripping down your leg, little bit of boo-boo. Is that what's going on? I don't know, Gary. You acting very suspect right about now, sir. Gary says he loves potato salad. I mean, most people do. I get it. From Vince Wright. I'm with Ninja on that one, Gary. But I will say this. Marriage is hard damn work, but it's worth it to me. And the Governor Vince Wright has came in here and dropped another bomb. It is hard damn work, but if you're willing to put in the work, it is very well worth it. But it is work, and this falsehood to people to tell you, oh, it's so beautiful, and it'll all work out. Shit. You're going to have to work at it. It isn't always going to be beautiful. There are going to be times when it's going to be awesome. There are going to be times you're going to be like, why did I do this? You know what I'm saying? It's just like anything else. But, you know what I'm saying? It takes work. It takes work, and that's something that people don't say enough. So I'm glad you pointed that out, sir. It does take work. Vince Wright said Gary's going to get blocked. He working on it, man. But no, I'm not going to block anybody for their opinions. Gary said, my therapist made me an offer. Okay, Gary. Okay. I mean, it is what it is, sir. From Chief Rocker, LOL Ninja, Gary is on that ooh-wee. Chief Rocker said, Gary on that ooh-wee. From Jungle Brother. That ninja tell Gary to go sit his ass down. LOL. Man, that's y'all's statement. Hold on, wait a minute. We got my man 334, Bama Boy, in the chat room. Thanks for tuning in, sir. I appreciate it. Glad to have you in here, man. 334 Bama Boys in the chat. Thanks for tuning in to the show, man. We're discussing, is sexual compatibility important in a relationship? To me, a ridiculous question, but I just wanted other opinions, and I think it's safe to say that Gary has a different opinion on the subject. But I just wanted to hear different opinions on the particular subject and how people thought about it, because, you know, not everybody thinks alike. So I was curious. And I think, obviously, it is just as important as your connection with somebody from a mental aspect, but some people disagree. And I think depending on who you are, it's going to lean, 60-40 and or 70-30 one way or the other. Okay, from Grego. Gary brings the emotion. Grego's ass. Okay, I'm sorry. From Grego, Gary brings the emotion to this forum, like my Patriot Talk brings to the Black Quarterback Show. LOL. Not necessarily, Grego, but do your thing, sir. Do your thing. From Sluggo, laugh my ass off, Jungle. Right over there. Go sit your ass down. Stupid. Okay, from 334 Bama Boy. By the way, good show today, Jersey. Yeah, Jersey did have a good show on the Monday morning recap, man. No doubt. No doubt about that. From Gary Joyner. Gary is really on it tonight. Okay. Let's see. I'm on something different for sure. I have curiosity. I want to taste different ice cream, but I resist temptation because I'm cool like that. Gary. Are you married, Gary? I mean, if you're in a committed relationship, that's a different thing. If you're married, then, yeah. Again, see, Gary, if you're married or in a committed relationship, then I think you're missing the point. Again, man, tell Bae that you're listening to the radio show with a bunch of dudes and you don't need her standing over you, you know what I'm saying, threatening you with weaponry and apparently the thought of physical threat. Because you're working overtime on here on points that I ain't even making. You're defending, you know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm gonna stop, man. From Jungle Brother, if you've been sexing a chick and she never texts you what you doing, you ain't hitting it right. Jungle Brother, let me read that again. If you've been sexing a chick and she never texts you what you doing, you ain't hitting it right. Jungle Brother dropping bombs. Yeah, she gonna give you a what you doing or a phantom ass call. Or, hey, can I come by and she's super close? It's just going to happen. It's going to happen. It's just what they do. It's just what they do. From Grego, I will be doing a black audit on you, Ninja. Motherfucker. Hey, Grego, ain't going to be no damn audit. Ain't going to be no damn audit, man. Hold on, from Grego. I will be doing a black audit on you, Ninja. I'm the most qualified to see if you need to relinquish your card. I'm not giving up my card. I'm not giving up my card, sir. From 334 Bama Boy. I'm not giving up my card. As a matter of fact, get out of here. Back your ass up. Back your ass up, man. I ain't giving up my card, sir. You can't have my card because of my dining choices. Get out of here, man. From 334 Bama Boy. Damn that ninja. What do y'all need in North Alabama? Okay, I messed that up a little bit. Let me make sure y'all heard that. From 334 Bama Boy, damn that ninja. What do y'all eat in North Alabama? No, man, make no mistake about it, man. I'm by myself on this. I'm a picky eater, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? I understand that this is me. You know what I'm saying? So I realize that I'm not the majority in my dining choices. So I realize it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? No doubt about that. I realize that. From Gary G. Money Joyner. That ninja, catfish and grits. Man, I can eat over, let me see. Hold on, wait a minute, wait. Gary G. Money Joyner. Let me make sure I mess this up. Okay, Gary, what I think you meant to say was, that ninja, catfish and grits, man, I can't eat over that ninja's house to eat. I can't come, okay, I got you now. I'm sorry, I butchered that twice. That's terrible radio. I know spell check get y'all sometimes, so let me clean that up. That ninja, catfish and grits, that means I can't ever eat over at that ninja's house, like ever. See, Grego, I'm by myself on that, though, you know what I'm saying? Well, no, that isn't necessarily true, Gary. I mean, if I make tilapia or some mahi or, you know, some perch or whatever, some whiting, what, you're not going to eat that? And I get it, man. I've just never been a big catfish person. I've never been big on it, man. Vince Wright, haha, Grego, check him. No, the hell he ain't. No, the hell he ain't, man. Y'all, what did I say at the top of the show? You can't have my black card. I meant that. You can't have my black card from Sluggo. I'm with you on the oatmeal and cream of wheat, but I can't. Okay, Sluggo. Okay. That's a consistent opinion. Let me finish this chat. From Sluggo. I'm with you on the oatmeal and cream of wheat, but I cut your ass to the white meat over some grits. I know y'all love y'all grits, man, but grits taste just like that. Grits, they taste gritty. Why are you feeding me pea gravel? I'm good on grits, man. I mean, it's just me, man. I got my own taste buds, man. It is what it is. As opposed to grits, you know what I'm saying? If I'm going to do something like grits, I'll go with white rice, Uncle Ben's. But for the most part, I do egg whites. And I just get, my meat of choice. I do some link sausages or some bacon, some steak if I'm on that day, possibly some cube steak, possibly a pork chop, possibly, what's another breakfast food I'm short? Oh, possibly some grilled smoked sausages, some grilled Hillshire Farm sausages, something like that, and egg whites. I pretty much keep it simple. I'm not that hungry in the morning, and I don't like to eat heavy, and, that's about all I like to go with, in the morning. I try to cut back on my bread because, hell, I'm getting old. Okay, from Gary G. Money Jr. Can't get over that ninja's house to eat. I love all those foods. I'm telling you, so, dude, the stuff, I feel you, but the other stuff I cook you like. And, I mean, I'm not opposed to cooking catfish. I'll make it for you. I get it. From J. Fish, I treat marriage like 7-Up. Never have, never will. Fish, that's for you, sir. I mean, the game is to know what you want to do, and you're honest with yourself. You know you don't want to be married, and the fact that you're willing to admit that to yourself and not be ashamed to say it in fear of social scrutiny is showing a high mental level on your part, in my opinion, sir. So props to you. From Jungle Brother. If she working at Walmart, Jungle Brother's on one tonight, man. I feel it coming. Okay, let me get this out. If she working at Walmart and all her bills caught up, I bet you no head know what her mouth do. Jungle? Depending on who she is, it might not even be an old head, but again, I can't disagree. Dropping bombs. If she got a job that doesn't fit the lifestyle, and she's willing to use her physical attributes, this can happen. So Jungle is not, although that is hysterical, very true. From J. Fish, I change my phone number every 3 shorties I smash. J. Fish said he changed his number after every 3 smashes, after every 3 shorties. That means J. Fish gets stalkers. He got to get them off of him. From Vince Wright, I'm with you, Ninja. Just make them ribs and we good, sir. Okay, I hear you, man. We're going to figure that out, man. We're going to figure that out. From Sluggo, damn, they say tilapia is not for human consumption. Sluggo, man, I heard that, man. I heard that, but is that an internet hoax or something? I would hope so, man, because I like tilapia, but I can give it up if I need to. But I like tilapia, so that sucks. That really does. I kind of heard something about that on the internet, but I don't necessarily know how true it is, so I don't know, man. From Gary G. Money Joyner. Salmon patties are tasty. Collard greens, cabbage is tasty. I guess that's a random thought from Gary. Gary, I hate salmon patties. I don't like salmon. I don't like tuna. I guess I forgot to mention those two. Those two are just as disgusting as potato salad to me. Don't like either one of those. And if I'm not mistaken, those are 2 of the healthier fish to eat, if I'm not mistaken. So I guess that's not good for me. But I don't care for that. Now, greens and cabbage. Cabbage, again, I think I said this last show. Cabbage is extremely underrated. Love cabbage. Love cabbage. Extremely underrated. But no, never care for salmon, man. Never cared for it at all. Okay, man, I appreciate the participation, man. We're going to get ready to take a little break here, play a song.
Thank you, SME, for tuning in. Sorry for that abrupt ending. This has been the abridged version of the Underground Railroad Show. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time on SME.
I'm super cool, still a threat at the same time. Rhyme about the times I'm